Ishida has created a fantastic chapter. The battle between Tokyo and Ozuma has officially begun, and seeing the fight choreograph and the art styles in each of these pages, seeing how dirty and how gritty, but also to the details on how the injuries of Tokyo, but also to Ozuma as well, is receiving chapter, and seeing how clean and design of seeing how Tokyo from going from getting his ass beat to actually dominating the fight was just 100% beautiful. But this chapter was not just about the fight choreographed Tokyo's transformation or even just the art style alone. This chapter was really about two friends working out their issues by throwing hands against each other and actually seeing that Ozuma realized something, that he's just not a sidekick. He actually realized that Tokyo actually do respect him, and that Tokyo actually does accept how Ozuma is. And Ozuma finally hit that conclusion towards the end, while he is stating himself that saying that I always wanted to be your hero. Because last chapter we understand Ozuma motive, and Ozuma motive to Tokyo was that he always felt that Tokyo looked down upon him. He always felt like Tokyo never respected him, never took him serious. He always think that Tokyo viewed him as a joke. And throughout this fight, Ozuma wanted to prove to Tokyo, like, hey, I want my respect. I want you to look at me as an equal. I want you to actually view me as the hero, because I want to be your hero. That's why I went and tried to rescue you, even though I knew this was like a dumb decision, because even before the whole time that he transformed into the moon beast Trojan, he says that I want to become the hero that to save my friend. I want to save my friend. And even though he has like this kind of rivalry with Tokyo, he still views Tokyo as a friend. He just wants Tokyo to be like, hey, respect me, view me as your equal. And that's all he wanted. And that's why he wanted to fight Tokyo, because all he wanted was Tokyo to view him as his hero, even though Tokyo already viewed him as his hero. But besides the whole conclusion, the relationship between Tokyo and Ozuma and their battle, let's talk about the battle and understanding that Tokyo has a couple of transformations that we have seen. Because when we saw that Tokyo, when he saw the dead body of Ozuma, we saw him with a new transformation. In this fight, we also see him with a new badass transformation, and it also illustrated as much time that he does the arise, a Choujin will slowly lose his humanity. And it seems like Tokyo, when he kept arising himself during the whole entire fight with Ozuma, he slowly started losing his humanity. And we see that showcase while he just went into this new form of his vulture self and actually was trying to go ahead and defeat Ozuma. Like, he just literally just whooped the hell out of Ozuma with 3 arms, new weapons out of nowhere, getting taller, and just look so much of like a different beast. And it was just showcasing that. And he was even able to snap out of it and try to carry Ozuma into a safe distance where they can actually go ahead and actually communicate. And just seeing Tokyo having these transformations throughout this arc, because trust me, ever since Tokyo got kidnapped and he saw Ozuma died, it's been a new transformation after a new transformation after a new transformation. And trying to understand Tokyo ability is very interesting. And we started to understand the more of the lore of Choujins each time a chapter has dropped, and we're starting to understand their abilities and what they're able to do, and probably the factuation of beast Choujins, because everyone else who has like a normal ability like Ellie or Simon or Momoma, we're not able to see as of yet how they're able to transform. It seems like more people are more invested into the Beast Chosen because I guess they're able to do more stuff. Because that scene when we saw that Tokyo was being stabbed while being in the air, because Ozuma transformed his arm into a sword and stabbing Tokyo all the way up in the air, and seeing Tokyo just transform into a whole bunch of feathers into his new vulture state form and just transforming, it illustrated that, saying that Tokyo has already reached and surpassed his limits, because arise is a phenomenon that fused the destructions and the creation, resulting in a revival. For Trojan, it is a fundamental power using to their abilities to break down their body, and they will overcome their humanity to a point of harm. This is what makes them a Trojan. So therefore, continuously using that ability arise, because Tokyo, during the whole course of that battle, every time that Tokyo was fighting against Ozuma, he kept saying, arise, arise, arise. And the more often he is confirmed with death, the more of the Trojan will become less human. And it seems like during that course of the battle, Tokyo was at the brink of death. Tokyo kept going closer and closer to death. And therefore, the results was that he needed to transform, because since he was getting closer to death, he lost more of his humanity. And for that, he understood that, hey, to stop Ozuma, because I'm afraid to lose this battle, because if I lose this battle, Ozuma, he's going to continue on this rampage. So he wanted to win this fight because this is what Ozuma wanted. So he also was able enough to go ahead and use his Trojan powers to go into this kind of beast form of the vulture format of his Trojan powers, and actually was able to defeat Ozuma and start whooping his ass, because he understand that he's like, hey, I need to win. So while he was battling and beating the hell out of Ozuma, to the point where Ozuma, he couldn't do nothing after this, because when Tokyo transformed into this form of this Trojan, he just ended up losing this battle. Like 3 arms, new swords, all of this stuff. So Ozuma, he's just sinking in the ground, and he is just wondering. He was just like, hey, I'm a good swimmer. I should be able to move. Why I can't move? Because Ozuma, like literally after he got hit, he was crying. We see tears coming out of his face. We see the sweat. We see blood coming out. And all in all, he's just sinking in the bottom. He's just trying to swim his way back up. But he is so heavy due to the amount of damage that he has received. And so during that course of time, he started having a flashback, and he says, if nothing has happened, things would have changed. And so during that course of time, while he's trying to swim back up and he just continues to sink, he says, I would have always been your hero. And then slowly but surely, Ozuma's waking up and he realizing that Tokyo has him in his arms while he's flying away. The chapter ends while we see that the 2 best friends are flying in a safe distance. And so the next chapter, we're probably going to see the conclusion of both Tokyo and Ozuma talk about their friendship or their relationship, and seeing how they're able to even get a middle ground so that way they can both respect each other. But this chapter was very interesting to see Tokyo like going into this form, like this new form. Like it was so badass. And the panel of just seeing that Ozuma was getting like slashed by Tokyo's new form was so amazing. But damn, Tokyo, he has a interesting ability. I can see why the masked man wants Tokyo, because he's probably had the genetics or the ability to advance the Trojan power into a whole new level, and including to Ozuma as well, because it's just a very, very weird coincidence that we see Ozuma, the Moon Beast Trojan, was able to do all of these attacks and summon all of these weapons. But not only that too, we were able to see Tokyo with his vulture side persona and actually see him transform to a bird, but also to see him transform into this weird weapon monster that's able to grow a new sets of arms and new sets of weapons, and not even like a vulture like. So it's very, very interesting to see why the masked man is very interested in just understanding Choujin as in general, because just seeing that statement of understanding the arise ability, and that, you know, the more time that you use it and the more time you're getting closer to death, and especially too, like in a short amount of time, you lose a little bit of your humanity, which is very, very interesting. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next chapter. So if you guys do like the video, please give it a like and subscribe. And if you guys do like the video, please hit the like button, and remember, always be decent. This is the Monotone Man, and hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out there. And let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, what your theories are, and everything else, because I'm going to bed, because man, this chapter was just insane. But hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out there. All right, peace.